Welcome to our US Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into the latest buzz from around the world. First up, China is riding a wave of export activity as the US-China trade deal kicks in with a 90-day tariff pause. Businesses are hustling to stock up and ramp up production, ports are bursting with shipments, and companies are racing against the clock to make the most of this short window. It's a hectic but exciting time for global trade. Next, the European Union faces a big challenge. While a recent US-China tariff deal offers some relief, EU officials warn that without quick reforms, Europe risks becoming a shock absorber in this bipolar trade world. With internal divisions and ongoing negotiations, Brussels needs to act fast to boost its market and avoid being caught in the middle of US-China tensions. Finally, Hong Kong is stepping up as China's gateway to the Middle East. A recent trip to Qatar and Kuwait saw over 50 agreements signed, boosting trade and cooperation. Meanwhile, on the global stage, the US celebrates 80 years of the post-World War II order, but concerns about overseas students and international stability remain. That's all for now. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights. CNN reports an unprecedented surge in activity among Chinese manufacturers and exporters following a surprising breakthrough in US-China trade tensions. The announcement of a 90-day tariff rollback has ignited a frenzy of orders and shipments, with companies rushing to replenish stocks, fulfill backlogged orders, and capitalize on the temporary easing of duties. For instance, toy seller Nikkei has seen a 30% increase in orders, while ports are experiencing a near 300% spike in container bookings to the US. Chinese factories are working overtime to meet the surge, even as some had previously furloughed workers or shut down due to tariffs. Meanwhile, US companies like Greg Maz's lighting firm are scrambling to ship out inventory, and shipping giants like Maersk are expanding capacity to handle the increased bookings. However, this rush may disrupt the usual peak season, and uncertainty remains about how long this activity will last, especially as businesses navigate the complex landscape of tariffs, supply chain rerouting, and geopolitical tensions. South China Morning Post highlights the cautious optimism in Europe following the US-China tariff deal, which temporarily halts the diversion of Chinese exports to the continent. European officials see this as a chance to buy time, but warn that without swift and deep reforms, the EU risks becoming a shock absorber for global trade upheavals. Experts like Michael Pettis emphasize that Europe must accelerate internal integration and reduce trade barriers to avoid being caught in the crossfire of US-China tensions. The EU faces internal divisions on industrial policy and debt strategies, with some leaders resisting joint borrowing or comprehensive reforms. Meanwhile, trade data shows a decline in China's exports to the US but a significant increase to Germany, indicating shifting trade flows. The EU is also pressuring China to address overcapacity and trade diversion concerns, but Beijing's reluctance to change its manufacturing practices underscores the deep-rooted economic and strategic differences that could undermine Europe's long-term stability amid ongoing global upheavals. The South China Morning Post also covers Hong Kong's expanding role as China's strategic gateway to the Middle East. During a recent delegation trip, Hong Kong's representatives signed over 50 agreements across sectors like finance, manufacturing, and legal services, reinforcing its position as a superconnector and a vital hub for Chinese enterprises seeking international markets. With its zero-tariff policy and status as a free port, Hong Kong is uniquely poised to facilitate trade and investment between China and Middle Eastern nations such as Qatar and Kuwait, both of which are pursuing ambitious economic visions. The city's professional services sector is vital in helping mainland companies optimize global operations and adopt ESG principles and digital transformation. This mission underscores Hong Kong's strategic importance in China's broader economic development, leveraging its global connectivity and expertise to forge new pathways for shared prosperity and regional integration, thus solidifying its role as an indispensable bridge in the evolving landscape of international trade. The South China Morning Post vividly describes the revitalized House of Dancing Water in Macau, highlighting its increased Asian influence under the guidance of Jaden Hijingda, a seasoned martial arts director and former Cirque du Soleil performer. The show, originally directed by the legendary Franco Dragone, was closed due to the pandemic but has been reborn with a fresh infusion of Asian elements, including swordplay, tai chi, and bagwazang, creating a visually stunning spectacle that blends traditional martial arts with cutting-edge technology. He emphasizes the complexity of working with a massive stage that integrates water, technology, and human movement, involving nearly 300 performers from over 30 countries, including former Olympians, making it one of the most intricate productions he has ever undertaken. His decision to remain in Macau rather than return to the US has opened new opportunities, such as participating in a Broadway show at Wynn Macau, demonstrating the region's growing prominence in global entertainment. The South China Morning Post also details China's strategic diplomatic efforts in Europe, focusing on the recent unannounced visits of Defense Minister Dong Jun to France and Germany, and his participation in the UN Peacekeeping Ministerial in Berlin. These visits mark China's renewed commitment to strengthening defense ties, discussing critical issues like maritime security, nuclear proliferation, and regional stability, particularly in the Indo-Pacific and Ukraine. Despite ongoing tensions over Taiwan, the South China Sea, and Europe's security interests, China continues to portray itself as a stabilizing force and a responsible global actor, especially through its substantial contributions to UN peacekeeping missions. Dong's pledge to enhance China's peacekeeping capabilities, including deploying advanced technology and training, underscores Beijing's desire to project power and responsibility on the world stage while navigating complex diplomatic landscapes. Meanwhile, the South China Morning Post reports on the U.S. legislative response to the ongoing challenge of AI chip security, highlighting bipartisan efforts to prevent the smuggling of advanced chips like those from NVIDIA into China. The proposed Chip Security Act aims to implement technology that verifies the origin and location of AI chips before export, addressing concerns over national security and technological advantages. This legislation follows recent U.S. policies that have sought to tighten export controls amid reports of chips being diverted into China, even as the Trump administration's recent actions, including trips to the Middle East, suggest a strategic push to strengthen technological alliances elsewhere. The bill reflects broader U.S. concerns over maintaining technological superiority and preventing potential misuse of AI technology by adversaries, illustrating the ongoing geopolitical tug-of-war over critical emerging technologies. Nikkei Asia reports that Australian mining company Lynas has achieved a significant breakthrough in the production of heavy rare earth elements at its Malaysian refinery, marking a pivotal moment for Western efforts to diversify supply chains away from China. For years, China has dominated the processing of heavy rare earths, such as dysprosium and terbium, crucial components in high-performance magnets used in electric vehicles, wind turbines, and defense systems. Lynas, which primarily supplies light rare earths like neodymium and praseodymium, has now commissioned a new separation line capable of producing these heavier elements, with plans to separate terbium by June. This development positions Lynas as the only commercial producer of heavy rare earths outside China, with demand rising amid geopolitical tensions and export controls imposed by China on critical materials. The company's strategic initiatives include engaging with customers across Japan, the US, and Europe, and expanding its capacity with a new refinery in Texas, supported by U.S. Department of Defense funding. As China's export restrictions tighten, global buyers are increasingly eager to establish alternative sources, prompting the U.S. to accelerate efforts in developing domestic and international supply chains for rare earths, exemplified by recent collaborations like MP Materials' exploration of a Middle Eastern rare earth industry with Saudi Arabia. South China Morning Post highlights a fascinating discovery about the ancient migration of horses between Asia and North America during the late Pleistocene, revealing a complex history of movement and genetic exchange across the Bering Land Bridge. Fossils such as Dalianensis horses, unearthed near Dalian in northeastern China, show evidence of mixed Eurasian and American ancestry, indicating multiple migrations that occurred between 50,000 and 13,000 years ago. These horses, slightly larger than modern wild horses, traversed the land bridge during glacial periods, facilitating genetic exchanges in both directions. The study, published in Science, reveals that horses from North America and Eurasia were not isolated but part of a dynamic, interconnected evolutionary process, with some lineages migrating into China and Siberia, contributing to the genetic makeup of horses in those regions. The research underscores the importance of migration as a natural response to changing environments, with indigenous perspectives emphasizing that horses were designed to move and adapt. The findings also have implications for conservation, advocating for the creation of ecological corridors that enable species to continue their natural migrations, preserving genetic diversity and resilience in the face of environmental change. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Great dragon wakes ancient streets, leading change with modern beats. Cities rise and towers peak, new dawn breaking, bold and sleek. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all in play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roar, change the cars marching strong with mighty force. Whoa. New era, new wave, fast-paced day, history made in full display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west and knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power demonstrates. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all the play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course, marching strong with mighty force. New era, new way, fast-paced day, history made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions their growth and peace. New era, new way, fast-paced day, history made in bold display. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold but minds explore.